appliances are space age, and the kitchen's a bit more upstage. The commode is 2 weeks old, and the parquet shines like gold. And the radio from romance, darling, may I have this dance? До свидания, Саша. Meet tomorrow, joy. In line outside the Bolshoi.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. All right. Adam, Sarah, and Louise. All right. Now, to tell us all about it, the general director of the Chicago Opera Theater, and this is his last year. He's moving back to London and leaving Chicago as the cultural wasteland it was when he arrived. Please welcome Brian Dickie. Why did you leave? What's going on? Why did that happen?
I'm very, very, very old. You know, I passed my sell-by date, and like all of you, we got these things in our closets which you take them out and it says, eat before May 2001. You eat it anyway.
Yep.
And COT has been eating me for the last 10 years.
So you got
since I passed my sell-by date. So I've been here doing my best, and but the time has come. And so I'm going home to London. I have 9, I kind of lost count. I've got 9 grandchildren.
Wow.
8 of whom are boys.
Really?
With one little granddaughter. And I don't really know them.
Yeah.
So I guess I better get to know them before.
You couldn't convince them all to move over here, and then you could stay here in the...
No.
All right.
The mother of 2 of them is a drummer, a djembe player, and she's got a thriving djembe playing business in southwest England. And she can't move to the Midwest and play the djembe and make money.
Because it's already too crowded with players?
There are too many good ones here already, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. So, all right, let's talk Chicago Opera Theater.
Yeah.
When you got here, what, 90...
99, September the 5th.
Okay. What was the vision? What did you set out to accomplish, and did that change over the years?
Well, it wasn't my vision. What happened was that CAT, which had made a huge reputation for itself from its foundation in '74, but in a rather small scale way, and we were based at that point at the Athenaeum Theatre in Lakeview.
Yep.
And there was this great idea of building a theatre downtown for these mid-scale companies, of which COT was the one that it was really primarily built for, because Mrs. Harris, whose husband's name is also on the building, had been the chairman of COT years back. And so it was really important that we transformed the company into something that could sit proudly beside the Art Institute and the CSO and Lyric and the Goodman and all these absolutely top-class, world-class institutions downtown. And we little Lakeview crowd, we nearly had to raise our game. So I came to...
What were you doing beforehand? Singing off key, and I mean, what was happening?
Well, it was a marvelous company which provided a very good service to fill in the gaps in the repertoire, but it was largely a Chicago-based thing.
Yeah.
But downtown, people expect international level, international standards, and that's what we tried to do. And by and large, I think we succeeded. At any rate, we've been here in the Harris Theatre since January or February 2004, 8 years now, and it's been a huge hit. And that's what I was asked to do, and that's what I tried to do, and I think by and large we've succeeded in doing it. And I'm handing a really prosperous, artistically speaking, prosperous company over to my successor, and I'm sure he's going to do a fine job in taking it forward, but we're still bust. We were bust when I came, and we're bust as I leave. So, folks, money.
So you broke even. What?
Well, broke.
Yeah.
Rather than even.
There's, I don't want to harp too much on the refrain that you often hear, that is that opera is increasingly for older people, that younger people aren't going. What is it, though, that do you think that younger people, and by younger I mean anybody from 20s to early 40s, can get out of opera that they can't get from anything else?
Oh my God, that's a huge. Well, I think the real problem is getting their exposure of young kids to opera from the earliest age, because if you expose them to this extraordinary magical art form when they're, in the case of my children, 3 months old and
Sure.
onwards, but I mean seriously in the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. And that is why we do so much work in the schools, to try and give the opportunity to young people to get to grips with this thing. It can, in a proportion of them, spark off something completely magical, which will in fact transform their lives. But it's...
So you're saying instead of Dora the Explorer, show them opera?
Well, in addition to Dora the Explorer.
Okay, right, sure.
In addition to, because Dora Explorer is a good thing. Swiper knows swiping.
Wow, I'm impressed. You do have 8 grandchildren.
Yeah. No, what? Music.
But what does it
And
do?
theatre. Well, music. Well, it's a mystery. Music and theatre, but particularly music. One's attachment to music is a mystery, like falling in love. It can do something to you, and we know this in pop music as well. But I mean, if you listen to the great classics, something can hit you, and you fall in love. And it's a mystery, and nobody can understand it, but it happens, and people can get engaged with it, and so passionate about it to the exclusion of everything else that it drives them nuts. And we are all crazy slightly. We are all really kind of so obsessed with the work that we do that, and we never get tired of it. I mean, I've been doing this opera business for 50 years, or it will be 50 years on the 23rd of April.
Wow.
Since I first worked in opera, and I've never done anything else. And I'm not going to do anything else now. Past my sell-by date.
Well, last time you were on, we didn't talk too much about your career, so let's go through each of those 50 years. Where did you come from, Brian?
Well, I was a lawyer.
Really?
But a failed lawyer, dropout from law school. A lot of my family have been lawyers.
Do you mean barrister?
No, I never even got that far. I was at university studying law, and I thought all these lawyer colleagues of mine, they were more interested in the technicalities of law than in justice, which I thought justice, it seemed to me, was supposed to be the objective.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
quite
not.
see it that way.
That is not law.
So law was not the servant of justice; it was the other way around. So I gave it up, and I'd been from a very, very early age very involved in musical activities of one kind or another. So I thought, hey, I might make my life in this, and I was very lucky at the age of 20 to get a job in a phenomenal organisation in England, where I stayed for 27 years. And I ended up as being the boss of it. After 20 years of hard slog, gradually, I started work at the age of 20, earning £5 a week. £5, it just.
What's that with the exchange rate?
Well, that's about $8
Okay.
a week. A week, not an hour. A week.
Yeah.
Okay. And I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I learned everything that I possibly could about the whole process of how a first-class opera company works. That's what I did. And I stayed at Glyndebourne for 27 years, and then I was general director of the Canadian Opera Company in Toronto for 5 years. And then I was in France advising the opera at Nice. It was a kind of a 3-year sabbatical on the Côte d'Azur.
Wow.
That was my only real hardship post. And then I came here, and I've been here for 13 years. And when, in fact, I was asked to come here in 99, I thought, well, this is a 3-year assignment. I'll do what I can to try and mold the company to make it qualified to go downtown and perform there. Never would have occurred to me to think that I could stay here for so long. And there has not been a moment which I haven't enormously enjoyed, and it's been a real bonus for my life.
When you look back, are there some shows that or some performances that you say that was either so amazing or wow, that we just barely eked by on that one?
Yeah, well, of course, never at the time do you think that you barely eked by. But yes, of course, there were one or two, but really not very many.
What's been your favorite? Is there a favorite?
Well, I was immensely proud of The Death in Venice that we did in 2004. I was immensely proud of The Flowering Tree of John Adams, which we did. I was at the world premiere of it, and I had lunch with the composer the following day, and I said, I want to bring it to Chicago, and I want you to conduct it as well. And he said, yes, I will. He came, he conducted a new production. It wasn't the original production which had been first seen in Vienna. He agreed to conduct a new production of A Flowering Tree, and that was, for me, a huge compliment that he would come and do this with COT.
So tell us about this upcoming season. We got Moscow. When is it premiere?
It's on the 14th.
Okay.
A week tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's with Moscow Sheryomushki, so difficult to pronounce, is an operetta, in fact. Now you got a taste of the music here. It's immensely appealing. The thing is full of sentiment, passion, love, hugs, lots of kisses, comedy.
It's a satire.
It's a satire on the situation of the I suppose affordable housing or public housing in Moscow in 1958 or thereabouts, when Khrushchev was in charge.
Does it involve like multiple families sharing one unit, all of that kind of
multiple
craziness?
families sharing one unit, and the two young people, Masha and Sasha, that we've just heard, they've been married for 6 months, and they're living on the other side of town from each other, and this was their opportunity to find somewhere they could really live together. Novel idea. Yeah. If you come to the Harris Theatre on the 14th, you will have your eyes and your ears open to something which is so full of joy and happiness and positive thing. I mean, the humour is wonderful. And the beautiful people on the stage are beyond compare. Present company accepted, of course.
Well, I can't wait to see it, and I'm sad that you are leaving, but I'm glad that you'll...
I'll be back on a fairly, periodic, from time to time. I'm not going to stop working,
What are you going to do?
Well, I've got various little projects that people want me to do, but for many years I've been...
You said you're getting old. There's those people that hand out samples at the grocery store.
Well, I do that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll do anything.
Just an idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, that's a good suggestion. How much is it? Is it
you do it.
$8 bucks an hour?
You get free samples.
Oh.
Yeah, £5. £5 a week. Well, listen,
Can you eat them?
Yeah, sure, as much as you.
Oh, well, that's okay. Smoke them.
Dope and shrimp. Dope and shrimp.
Shrimps? Oh, shrimps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Brian, for coming. And the season begins next week. And
Saturday, the 14th, And thereafter, we got another opera coming, Teseo by Handel, totally different thing, really dark.
And then the magic,
Brutal stuff.
then the magic flute.
And the magic flute is
You got to be doing that really differently, right?
in September. We'll be doing that differently. We'll be doing it in English. It was written as a kind of a pantomime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're pretty good, accessible. Don't
It's worth
be,
it.
Don't
It's worth
be
it.
frightened of opera. I may be very old, but everybody else is very, very young and fresh and yummy and everything you could possibly hope for when you go to the theatre.
Brian
Right.
Dickie, everyone.
Okay.